Okay, so here we are yet again with another video looking at some game deals I managed to find. If you saw that video from back in the summer of 2022 where I got those PS2 games, this was from the same seller. This time it's not PlayStation stuff, it's Nintendo stuff, which I haven't really covered quite that much on this channel. I have a few times, but I did grow up with some Nintendo stuff, but I've always been more of a PlayStation and Sega guy. That's my main thing that I like to collect, but I do still like getting this stuff when I manage to find good deals on it. But anyway, let's open these up. Let's see what's inside. Oh. That's cool. It says free bonus game. As a gift, it's a Chinese reproduction cart, but it will play fine on a SNES. Let's check this out. Whoa. Okay, so that's really cool that he gave me this Dracula X reproduction cart. That's awesome. Wow, this guy is awesome. The Legend Returns. That's really cool. I was not expecting this. I've never played this. I have played Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That was on the PlayStation Top 7 episode of 1997. It was number 2. From a young age, I'd played the first Castlevania because this pizza place I went to, they had one of those NES arcade cabinets, and it had Super Mario Brothers and Castlevania on it. So I had played that from a young age. I got the Genesis one much later, but so I did play these games. I've never been a super hardcore fan, but that is really cool that he included this. Let's see. Well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, it might be a reproduction cart, but that's still really nice of him. That guy is awesome. I need to tell him thank you for that. That's really cool. I was not expecting to get this. But cool, yeah. So yeah, Castlevania Dracula X reproduction cart. I mean, I guess, yeah, this game did have an official release, but it's still cool to get this. It was really nice of him. Like, I guess you can tell it's a reproduction just because it's not as high quality, but doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's really cool. Dracula X. Anyway, let's look at the actual games that I'd bought. Okay, so this is, I guess these are the rest of these are the N64 games I got. So first, 1080 Snowboarding. So I don't know anything about this game. It's a snowboarding game. I mean, I'm sure it's not as fun or as good as SSX. Just a snowboarding game. So let's see what's next. Next is NASCAR 99. Another game I don't have much to say about. And again, these are just carts only. Actually, I should probably say I normally don't buy games that are in just the carts. But in this case, it was a really good deal, and I'd actually seen this guy. This guy always sells stuff really cheap, and I saw him sell this one Super Nintendo game really cheap, and then like the very next day, I saw another seller selling it for like 3 times the price, and I was like, oh my god! So I was like, I gotta get this just so that doesn't happen again. But anyway, yeah, NASCAR 99. What's next? Next is Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. So another game I have not played, though I do know about this one. I know it's pretty popular. People like the story from what I know. I think it had like an orchestrated soundtrack or something. But I remember this game was like a big deal. A lot of people liked it, but yep, never played it. Next is GoldenEye 007. So of course I know this game. Everyone knows this game. I never had this game though, actually. I guess I should say, so I did get a Nintendo 64 when I was around, I would say 10 or 11 years old. In my kid's mind, it was way after I'd gotten a PlayStation. I got a PlayStation when I was in like kindergarten, and I got a N64 I think when I was in like 5th grade, when they stopped making them around that time so that you could get them cheap. Like I got mine, it was like, I think it was like $20, include the expansion pack and stuff. But yeah, so I had a friend who always brought N64 games over, and this is one they brought over to play on my Nintendo 64. So I never really felt like getting it, but I did play it a lot. Even before then, of course, I had friends, other friends too, had this game. A lot of people I know, everyone I knew who had an N64 had this game, which is why I never really got it. I really thought about getting it a lot when I was older, but just never had the chance. It was always a little bit expensive. Like, I like to get games that are like, you know, $5 or something. And this game was always like a bit more than that, like $20 or something. I did have Perfect Dark though, which is a cool game, and it's kind of like the spiritual sequel. But I never had this one. But now I do, so that's cool. Label's a little bit messy. There's something going on there. Looks like he's been snorting coke. But yeah, of course, yeah, great game, a classic. So now I finally have it. Would be nice if it was, you know, complete, since that's how I usually like to collect these things, and that's why I don't really collect Nintendo 64 games so much, because it's hard to find them complete, but oh well. It's still nice to have. Okay, next. Mario Kart 64. This is the player's choice version, which is why it has that black everyone rating, ESRB rating, even though this game came out when there was still the KA rating. So I guess this would have come out at least in November, maybe around October or November of 1999 is when they switched to the black rating. Like you see here, it doesn't have that pixelated logo anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is a game I played a lot when I was in college. I had friends who were still into this game, and I haven't played it as much as a lot of people. I guess I'm not like a super huge racing fan, but of course it's a classic. People love this game, and yeah, I never had this one either, but now I do, so that's cool. All right, next. Okay. First is Turok. All right, that's cool. So this is a game I have had. It was one of the first N64 games I got way back when. I thought it was cool. I didn't ever get super far in it, but there's a lot of cheats for this game, so I'd always just enter in the cheats to go to, the last level, and I get all the weapons and just kill the boss super easily since I'm cheating. But I haven't played it since I was a kid though, so I don't know. I should give it another shot. I'm sure it's not that great. But yeah, Turok was a character I always thought was awesome when I was a kid, and I even had like a Turok action figure that I got like at a garage sale, but still I thought, oh cool, Turok action figure, so I bought that. So yeah, Turok. All right, next is Wave Race 64. So this is one of the first, I believe this was one of the first Nintendo 64 games. I don't think it was a launch game. I think it came out like a little bit after the launch, like maybe a month later or something. I need to check into that though, but I remember like the people always talk about the water graphics in this game being really great, and I think I've played it, though it's been forever if I have, because I don't remember anything about it besides having nice water graphics. But yeah, used to be a sticker on the back, but it's cool. Now I have this game too. All right, these ones are in foam. Battle Tanks by 3DO. I don't really have anything to say about this game. Oh. Looks like you put some codes. So, what's that? Bruges? Wharf? They don't know. Last? I guess that's the last level. That's funny. Battle Tanks. They made a label for it. I guess, yeah, if they have... if they wrote passwords, this must be one of those N64 games where you couldn't save. That sucks. But, oh well. Battle Tanks. Next is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. This is a game I'm pretty sure I played. I'm pretty sure my friend who always brought over GoldenEye, I'm pretty sure this was another game he brought over. I'm almost 100% sure. He had he always brought over GoldenEye, this, and then like that pod racing game. The thing I remember about this game is that even though it came out before Star Wars Episode 1, they actually had like the Star Wars Episode 1 like ship in the game as like a secret, but they didn't tell anyone about it until after Star Wars Episode 1 came out. So that's really awesome. They would never be able to get away with that now, like putting something like that in a game without people like instantly finding it. But they actually did back then. That's a really cool thing. But yeah, there's not much else I really know about this game, but that's something that's definitely cool. But yep, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. All right, these are the final ones in this box. Super Mario 64. So yep, I do have this game. I remember I got it not long after I got my N64. I got it like at a pawn shop. I think it was like $25. It's an experience I feel so stupid about now, because like we went there into the pawn shop and then I was looking at it and it was $25. And then my mom was like, $25 seems kind of high. I think she was trying to, you know, barter with the guy. But I was so I didn't know like you could barter at pawn shops, so I told my mom like, no, that's the best price you can get for it. And then so of course the guy there was like, no, that I'm not going to change the price. And then my mom was like kind of mad at me after for doing that, because she was trying to save me money, because I was the one who ended up, you know, paying for it with my own like allowance money or whatever. But I always felt dumb about that, because I didn't know like that's what you do at pawn shops. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this is a great game, of course. Not much more to say about Mario 64. All right, next. All right, next is Yoshi's Story. Label's kind of messed up, but this is the other game I do have, or I guess technically my sister has. She played it all the time. I remember seeing my sister play this game all the time. Yeah, my sister actually played that Nintendo 64 way more than I did for some reason. And this and Banjo-Kazooie, I think, were the Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, and even Zelda. My sister played those all the time. It was crazy. Like, I don't know why she played that system so much, but yeah, so I did see this game a lot, and I played it a little bit. But yeah, this is a game that surprisingly I watched more secondhand from my my younger sister, I should say. She's about 3 years younger than me, but it's definitely a girl game. Though, it's good for anyone, really. All right, last is Star Fox 64. Another game that I never had. And it's also another game that people brought over a lot. So a lot of people I knew had this game. So I was like, oh, I don't need to get it. It's definitely a cool game. I like it. But also not much more to say about it, I guess. But yeah, of that generation, it's definitely one of the cooler, like, spaceship fighting games. I don't know, but yeah, Star Fox 64. All right, that's one box down. Let's check out what's in the next one. I guess I should say these are not, this box is not Nintendo 64 games, but still Nintendo. Okay. Newspaper. More newspaper. Okay, so these are Super Nintendo games, and they are boxed but not complete. They're missing the manuals. But anyway, Gradius 3. I believe this was a Super Nintendo launch game, so that's something I might cover someday. Let's see. Something nasty is going around, and the whole universe is catching it. That's funny. Yeah, it's a space shooter. So I used to have the Famicom version of Gradius 1 and 2, but I eventually sold them. But they're definitely really fun. They're really cool games. Yeah, and here's the game. Labels coming up a bit at the top, but that's okay. That's cool. I actually really don't have hardly any Super Famicom or Super Nintendo games, because I never really had a Super Nintendo. I got one at a garage sale when I was like, I don't know, 14 years old for like $5 or something. I was really, happy to get that, but then there was some weird issue with it where like the graphics, it didn't show like the foreground graphics, and I have no idea what was going on with that. So I never really got to play it because of that. I never found another Super Nintendo, though I do have Super Famicom. So I think I need like some kind of thing, some kind of adapter to play these since they won't fit inside otherwise. But yep, Gradius. And there is one more. Oops. This is Pilotwings. This is another game. So I know this for sure. This is a Super Nintendo launch game. So I guess it'll be good to have these since I probably will eventually cover the Super Nintendo launch for my launch games series. And it's not a very big launch, so it will be easy to cover. But yeah, Pilotwings. I like the typography. I like the logo. Doesn't really explain what kind of game it is, but just it's a nice looking cover. I like it. And I have played this game. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird game. Like you just do a bunch of tests. Eventually, you do a bunch of like flying tests, and eventually you do combat. That's like I think like the end of the game. But it's mostly just like do these tests. Can you do this challenge with your airplane or your jetpack or these other flying vehicles? I like it. It's a very interesting game, and I think it was made mostly to show off like the Super Nintendo's sprite scaling mode 7 or whatever that is. But yeah, the sky is the limit. Oh yeah, this one's a little bit different inside, but yeah, Pilotwings. This one it looks like there's a bit of an issue on the label. This one too, but oh well. They weren't so expensive. But yeah, I mainly wanted to get these just because, you know, I'd seen someone else scalp this guy's games, and I was like, I want to at least get them so that doesn't happen, since he sells them really cheap. And I feel bad when someone, you know, buys from someone like that who's trying to, you know, especially because that guy gave me a free game. He seemed like a good guy, and other people are just buying it so they can sell it on their own store for like a way higher price. That sucks. So, yep, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep these since I'm going to do the launch games video eventually. And yeah, it'll be nice to actually have the actual copies of at least these ones. So cool. All right. Oh, I just realized there was actually 2 that I missed. So here's 2 more Nintendo 64 games. Here is Pilotwings 64. So this one I played more than actually the original Pilotwings, because again I had a friend who had this game and he brought it over and I played it. I remember there was like a muscular guy is one of the characters you could choose, and my friend always referred to him as being a fat guy. He's so fat, and like every time I thought about it, like he wasn't fat, he was just muscular. That's the main thing I remember about this game. And the other game is Pokémon Snap. This is a game I have also played, but yeah, again, I've never had. I have Pokemon Stadium on Nintendo 64, but I never had this one. I had a friend who had this. I guess I had a few friends who had this. I watched them playing it at their house, but yeah, I never had it myself. I guess, I don't know, something about taking pictures. A game where all you do is take pictures. It seemed kind of lame to me, since normally, you know, Pokemon are fighting and stuff. I'd rather be doing that. I'd rather be fighting than taking pictures, but I know people like it. Yeah, Pokemon Snap. All right, and I believe that is everything. Okay, so there is everything. 14 Nintendo 64 games and 3 boxed Super Nintendo games. Again, yeah, not as much for me to say about these, just because I'm not obsessed with Nintendo in the same way I am with PS1, but I do still find it to be interesting, and it will be nice to have these 2 Super Nintendo launch games for when I cover that, and I guess it will be useful when I cover Nintendo 64 games too, since Mario 64 and Pilotwings 64 were launch games for that system. Yep, that's everything. Anyway, thanks for watching.